it's me again. I'm going to talk today about the time when I was in the Scrubs prison, Wandsworth Scrubs, way back in the 80s, 1988, 89, 90. It was a difficult prison. It was just after remand. Anyway, I was there and they put us on the short-term wing at first when I arrived from court after a period on the hospital wing. And while I was on the short-term wing, Ozzy Osbourne was coming and he was playing a gig in the Scrubs, for the lads and all that. He used to do things like that, and I was so excited about it. But for some reason, the governor wasn't letting me go in. He's no way. You're not going there. I'm not having O'Neill there. No, he's not to go. So they locked us in the cell, and I wasn't allowed to go. I was furious because that night, Ozzy had a handful of cannabis that he had in all 16s and 8s, and he flung it into the crowd to all the lifers, and they were all going mad, and big Winston Salcott was up on the stage dancing with Ozzy and all that, smoking a big spliff, and the screws at the back were furious. Oh, you can't do that. Who can't? They did. Anyway, the next day the governor came onto the wing where I was, and I chased him after shouting at him, "You dirty dog!" And I run down the stairs, the metal metallic stairs. It clanked and groaned. Anyway, I chased after him and had a pair of nail clippers in my hand. And I'm going to pluck your whiskers off that beard, whisker by whisker, you fucking rat! For fucking not letting me see Ozzy. I was furious. Anyway, after a tangle with many a screw, after he locked himself in the office, I'm booting the door, smashing it. "Come out, you coward!" But he didn't come out. He sent his officers instead, who manhandled me to the floor and wrapped me up and booted me all the way down to the segregation for a few hours to cool down, which I did. And then they sent us over to D-Wing. That's a lifer wing on the Scrubs. D-Wing is a big, impressive, long wing, one of the longest wings in Europe, holding lifers, old lifers on D-Wing. And I always remember walking on there, and the big doors come flying down, smash into some bin or something like that after it bounced off the netting. And it was Andy, my friend Andy Rogers, man. His trick was he used to get the big book and he used to put it in the doors and snap it where the hinges are, and it would snap the door off and he'd fling the doors over a landing. So he's dodging this big fucking prison door as I'm walking onto a landing with all my stuff, with all these army of restraint with me. And I got put on the wing into a cell I went, and then I was Cat A then, so I was on the twos landing. That's one up. And we had to move a cell every 2 weeks, because we weren't allowed to get comfortable in a cell. We get 2 weeks in each cell, and then we had to move around, so we couldn't make holes or try and escape or familiarise ourselves with that cell for some reason. But anyway, that's what they did every 2 weeks, where they'd move us and that. Aye, that was a wing and a half. And I arrived, as I say, after this altercation with the governor over Ozzy, and it went on from there. And there was another incident with this guy, and he threatened a friend of mine, wee Cass, who I was asked to look after, this wee lad from Derby, who sadly was doing life, and he died in prison. He had AIDS. He got AIDS through the person he killed, and that's why he killed him. And it was another story. But anyway, the wee lad from Derby, I was asked to look after him, which I did. And this bully came on the wing, this guy who was doing free lives and thought he was a ticket, a big guy, giving it large. And he was trying to get into the wee man's arse, you know what I mean, for a wee bit of comfort. And his balls up to the, anyway, I don't want to take in what he was up to and trying to get up to with Cass. And Cass didn't want it, so, he asked me if I could do anything about it. So I went to shout at this guy to tell him and say, "Listen, you need to leave this out." Anyway, he waited till I was at the top of the stairs and all the screws were about, and then he started shouting and giving him a character and calling me things that he shouldn't be saying. Just madness, shouting his mouth and letting his tongue waggle in front of the screws. So I just sort of blanked him and went back behind my door, because it was just tea time. So I had my tea, but after I finished my tea behind my door, I got padded up and made my stab vest, like the magazines and that. Got it all made up. And I thought, well, I'm going to have a word with this guy. So I got my vest and all that on. 6 o'clock, the screws opened the door, so out I went. Down the stairs, I roared down to his cell, banging on the door. But the door opened, his cell door, and he's not there. And I seen him, he's running down the landing, So I'm like, you shite bag. And over that bang up also, I made some petrol bombs up, but they weren't petrol. I said it was thinners. They made a mistake in art class one day, and they had a big 5 gallon drum of thinners delivered. Anyway, I got a couple of gallon of that before the mistake was known, and we got that spirited back to the ring, no pun intended, because thinners comes in handy, especially for an artist, being an artistic type. But I made some bombs up with these thinners, so I smashed them into his cell, fired it up. I fired a few at the office as well, up the landings, and I started chasing this lad down the landings, and he's fucking like a ghost, and you're on him like fuck. Anyway, he's another one that locked himself in the fucking office with a governor and barricaded up, and they wouldn't come out. Anyway, next thing is the whole wing is getting full of smoke, bloody bedlam everywhere, and people shouting and screaming and coughing and screws running everywhere. And I always remember looking, and there was all this fucking smoke, and there's these helmets, they're just floating along. And it was a fireman that came in from outside, and their helmets and breathing apparatus and all that. And it was a mad scene. In the next minute, I get apprehended with a gang of uniform, and they fucking ripped and pulled the clothes off me, and bent me up, put me into the holes, and dragged me all the way down to the segregation, the punishment cells. And it was a long drag from D-Wing away down to A-Wing, where the punishment cells were located. And they battered me, kicked me, punched me, rolled me and scraped me and dragged me all the way down there, twisting me up, calling me everything under the fucking sun. And I'm saying, that don't hurt. Everybody thing was a pain. Severe pain. It was fucking horrendous. Anyway, they're rolling me all the way down, and then eventually they poured me into a cell. There's me splattered all over the floor. Like, what the fuck happened? I was only wanting to look after some lad to make sure he was alright, but here we go. And then I went on a hunger strike, as you do in them days. So I'm on the hunger strike down there, refusing to eat. And after 4 days, I was dreaming of food, dreaming of milk, dreaming swimming in milk, swimming in this milk, you know what I mean? And then there was a lot of commotion in the dungeons that time, because this is when the screws were very brutal, and they were battering the lads that come down, proper battering. And in fact, I was down there when they killed one of my friends. It was a road rat, Big John. He'd just come from Parkhurst for visits, and he went on the visits to see his family and all that. There was an altercation on the visits. He got wrapped up, and a big fight started on the visits with him and his family and the screws. So he was wrapped up and dragged down and poured into a strip cell, and then was found dead the next morning. And they said he hanged himself, but it wasn't. It was the officers who hung him. And I know that for a fact. They killed him. The same officers who was took to court, some of them, there was 23 of them, all in charge, took to court, and some of them actually were sentenced for the brutality that they perpetrated on the lads in that time span. Now, it was years later they get took to court and it all came out, but nonetheless, it's happened, they're responsible, and it was another prison suicide. They killed him. And I'm going to say his name. He was a road rat lad, and he was a good friend of mine. He come from Parkhurst prison for the visits, and they killed him in that segregation department with the brutal bastards that they were. And I'm sorry for my vulgarity, but sometimes you get angry when you reflect back on what actually happened in the system in the early days. And there I was, down in that surrounds, with people getting their heads caved in, getting hung, battered, starved. You know what I mean? I was doing it, okay, saying I'm not eating, but others weren't getting fed. You know what I mean? It was a brutal time. And I was there for a few months before they spirited me away to Albany prison. But that was just a wee insight of just one incident in that prison of my endurance, while fighting my case. Because every day, every moment that I was in prison, I shouldn't have been in prison. I did not kill Mark. I didn't kill him in any way. There's no evidence that ever stated that I did. There's no DNA. There was nothing. I did not kill Mark. I saw Mark being killed. I saw the French kill him, but I did not kill Mark. sadly, we were all in a different, distorted world full of substance, drink, and stupidity. But nonetheless, in that world, in the streets of London at the time, Mark did lose his life horrifically, but I did not kill Mark. And there I was, serving 30 years on top of life for his murder, and deemed a subversive because I would not accept the sentence. I was fighting for my life every moment, you know, and surviving, you know, because it was my life. I could have been done, killed at any time, stabbed, slashed, bashed, boiled, you name it. There's so many different difficult things that happen within the the doors of darkness, as I call it, behind the wall, the wire, where the condemned are kept and punished. My God, you couldn't make it up. Some of the things that go on, and these screws at the scrubs at that time were very, very brutal screws, and it is out now. In the English system, penal system, know who these men are and women, but mostly men. But they know who they were: ex-POA or ex-army with the little NF badges and all that behind the tie and the gollywogs and everything, you know. And they were a gang of thugs, but you know, I was gaming. I fought them just as hard, and I had a very difficult time. They battered me a few times, and my best defence, as I said, was the hunger strike, and I was on that for a while, but not that long that time, but long enough, you know what I mean, for me wanting to eat my toes. Oh my God, that's one thing. Don't go without food. No, you don't have to, because it's not nice. But in that environment, that was my only weapon. That and the shite that you just wrap around you when you strip naked. You know, these are the weapons that we use to keep ourselves safe from death, I suppose. You know, because once you've seen it done, it's easy enough for them to try and take your life, which they did do on 2 occasions further on into the sentence. But that will be told further on into the book, you know. And this is what this video is about. It's about a collection of events, you know, recorded, you know, so maybe one day people can look at and have an understanding of what it's like for a person to be in a imprisonment for something they never did, and you know, the aspects of survival and what happens to a person, what happens to his mind. But that was the early stage of the sentence when that happened. That was in 1988 in Wandsworth Scrubs prison. Just because I didn't get to see Ozzy. Apparently he was really good that night anyway. But over and out.